Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, man? CamJNetwork, man. Back with another banger for y'all, man. You already know the vibes, man. But before we get started with the video, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. It definitely helps us in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Push the content out as much as possible in the algorithm, and it's well needed. And it's free. It don't cost you anything to do so. So make sure you hit that like button. And as well, subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed, man. We definitely working, man, for sure. We definitely working. And this video in particular right here, this is a segment that I used to do in my brand a little while back last year, where I was doing 3 minute shorts of this segment I call Cam J Story Time. And I'm bringing that segment back on the brand, man, for Cam J Network, man. So we bringing it back for us Cam J Story Time. And today, Cam J Story Time today is about one of the future stars in boxing, Derek Scooter Davis, out of DC, Maryland. 7-0, 7 knockouts, and definitely a guy to be looking forward to in the boxing world for sure. And just to get started with the video, speaking about Derek Scooter Davis, to add context with him. Derek Scooter Davis, he's 23 years old currently right now. He was born July 7th, 2002. And early on, and when he was coming up as a child, he was really big into sports. And the main sports that he was really big in was football and boxing. And he really loved football, but he was so athletic and good in all sports and mainly in football and boxing, to where they really caught on to him into boxing, and he really took on boxing, and that became the sport that he went after and went and pursued. And just looking back at him, he started boxing at the age of 7 years old, and he grew up boxing in the DC area. And a trainer named Barry Hunter from Headbangers Gym, he took a liking into him after a fight, and he wanted to work with him. So he grew up working in the Headbangers Gym, famous gym in DC, Maryland, out there. And growing up in DC boxing area, he admired guys like Javante Davis and Adrian Broner. And in his amateur career, when he was an amateur, he held a record of 158 wins and 17 losses. Major right there for an amateur career, having up to close to 200 fights and only having 17 losses and having 158 wins. That's really major. And he's won major. He's won multiple national tournaments and regional tournaments in his amateur career as well. And he turned pro February 2nd in 2023. And he had his first pro debut versus this guy, Kim K. I'm just gonna call him Kim K. I ain't gonna say his name because I would jack his name up. But he had his first pro debut February 2nd, in 2023, where he scored the first round knockout and winning his first fight as a pro. And then in his second fight, he fought this guy Christopher Thomas, up in November of well, actually, no, actually, my bad. November 4th, 2023. My bad. Just looking at it, and he scored another first round knockdown in his second pro fight, and then in his third fight, he fought this guy Joseph Vadalays in 2024 of March, and he scored another first round knockdown. So he ended up starting off 3-0. Then going into his fourth fight, he fought this guy Matias Gata and fought him in June 2024, and he scored a second round knockout in that fight. And I have the footage for that fight in general, and let me go ahead and pull it up right here.
Knockouts. Derek Davis looking for number 4. That might be it, and it is.
Well-timed shot.
Beautiful stuff from Scooter Davis.
That boy bad.
Second round knockout.
So there you go, right there in his fourth fight, scored a second round knockout, easy right there in his fourth fight right there. And then he went on in his fifth fight in November 2024 after that and fought Alfred Moss Jr. and stopped him in the first round right there. And then after that, starting off the year in 2025, he fights on the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach undercard and fights Jamal Johnson and puts on an amazing performance, getting a great look on a PBC card in the prelims and starting the night off. And I remember that night vividly myself covering the fights that night and, covering the fights and watching Scooter that night, and he looked so amazing in that fight. And I remember a lot of people that night all over the internet on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook was talking about Scooter. And I remember I got this highlight footage from that fight and I posted it, and it did crazy numbers over all of my socials and stuff and everything. And it just brought so much conversation about Scooter Davis. And, he was the real big talk of the night on March 1st that night early this year. And here goes the knockout clip against Jamal Johnson from Scooter Davis right here. And there you have it right there. Derek Scooter Davis versus Jamal Johnson, stopping him in the first round viciously right there, putting punishment on this man. You just see the power. You see, the athleticism, and you see, the vision and the ring generalship that he holds in the ring. He's definitely a guy that's, a guy that can be reckoned with for sure coming up in that 135-pound division. And just to add a little bit more context with him, his fight after that, he fights on the top rank card on Keyshawn Davis undercard in 2025 earlier this year, and he fights Naeem Parker, and this is what he does to Naeem Parker right here.
Oh, what a body shot. It is. 3, 4, 5.
He stretched his leg out. His leg is numb. That right leg is numb. He's not getting up. I'm letting y'all know. Oh my gosh, what a liver shot.
He scooted him out of the ring.
Oh my goodness.
Derek Davis with the body shot stoppage, paralyzing the...
And there you have it again right there with Scooter Davis. Right there, just punishing Naeem Parker with a body shot, dropping him and making him not even get up and get counted out on that fight right there, man. Just a beautiful fight, man, from this guy, Scooter Davis versus Naeem Parker. And just, looking at his career, man, looking at him, man, he's 5'9" in height. He has close to a 69-inch reach. He's campaigning at the 135-pound division. And right now, of course, he's 7-0. He done fought on TCL a couple of times where he's 2-0 on in the TCL league. And just the sky's the limit for this guy, man. He's definitely on a tear right now. And he has another fight coming up in a couple of weeks, September 5th. which is, me and him, we was chopping it up a little bit on Twitter, and then I hollered at him. I was like, man, would love to get you on the channel, man, and talk about this beatdown you about to give out September 5th on Pro Box TV. And he reached back right out immediately, man. And he said, let's do it, man. So I hit him up and said, I told him I was going to DM him and run it. Let's run it. And of course, man, this Tuesday coming up, 6 p.m. Eastern time on CamJNetwork YouTube channel, man. A conversation with CamJ featuring Scooter Davis, man. The Shark, man. Mr. Shark will definitely be in the building at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Man, I can't wait for it for sure, man. Scooter Davis definitely, a guy that a lot of people's, in media is not talking about much. And one thing I know with, me as a content creator, especially in the boxing realm, I definitely want to, showcase, some of these fighters that's not getting they flowers as they should. And a guy like Scooter Davis, he's been working hard, grinding hard. Of course, he under the tutelage a little bit under Barry Hunter and Headbangers Gym, where they've been keeping him locked in, over his career from him being an amateur on to him being a professional now, and they got him on a great track right now in his career. You know, they're moving them slow. They're not moving them fast. They're, giving him, the right fights to build his career, you know, and I know right now he's not signed to anybody. So he's just really more so on the independent run right now. But some of y'all promotional companies out there, man, y'all better be looking into signing this guy, man. For real. Like, he's definitely got the goods, and he's coming up in that generation with the guys like Camille Moden, Zaquin Moses, um, Abdullah Mason. Even though Abdullah Mason, he's in championship contention, he's about to fight for a title versus Sam Noakes November 22nd. But he's coming up in that younger generation of boxers right now that, you know, they're going to be the guys we're going to be covering and watching, in the next 10 years. Some of the fighters that's, we talk about that's, in the, late 20s and in the early 30s, mid 30s, going into their 40s. Some of these guys are going to be on their way out, and we're going to have a new generation of fighters to talk about. And a guy like Scooter Davis is a guy that everybody should start paying attention to a lot more. And watching some of these guys coming up, because like I said, these are going to be the guys we're going to be covering and talking about, and they're going to be taking over the sport of boxing. And these are going to be the guys that we look forward to fight each other. And we didn't, if you can watch Scooter Davis in recent interviews, he's mentioned about fighting Zaquin Moses and fighting Kermel Moden and fighting those guys, because those guys are in his era. And that era is definitely going to be real pivotal and important in the next generation of boxing going on for sure, man. So I'm definitely excited to tap in with my dog Scooter Davis, 6 p.m. Tuesday on the channel, man. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna have a great conversation, man, and build, give him his flowers on everything he's doing in his career, and talk about his upcoming fight that he has on Pro Box TV September 5th. And it's definitely going to be a great one, man. Make sure y'all definitely tune in for sure. And definitely like this video, man. Definitely help us in the algorithm by liking this video. We need y'all help much as possible by hitting the like button, man. It's free. It don't cost you anything. And also, subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed, man. Subscribe. We working, man. We definitely putting in a lot of work for sure, man. You already know I just dropped Sorry But Not Sorry Boxing Talk Roundup, the first vlog for that last night, and that's still up. And I'm gonna be dropping the second one tomorrow night on Monday. So we definitely keeping the content rolling and staying active and staying consistent much as possible. And for sure, remember, we live every Wednesday for Sorry But Not Sorry Boston Talk Wednesdays, man, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, man. So make sure y'all there live Wednesday. But first and foremost, remember Tuesday. We're gonna be live Tuesday with Scooter Davis, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we're gonna be live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time for a conversation with Cam J featuring Derek Scooter Davis. And Wednesday, we will be back live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for Sorry But Not Sorry Boxing Talk Wednesdays, man. As always, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a ball. We're going to play the resume game. I'm going to have another throwback fight of the day, and we're going to go over the hottest topics in boxing and cook up, open the panel, and have fun Wednesday. So y'all know how we get down, man. So make sure y'all like and on this motherfucking video, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed, man. We out of here, man. And salute to Scooter Davis. 6 p.m. Eastern time Tuesday is lit. We out of here.